Well, howdy, folks, and welcome to another great regatta review. We've got a big one, multiple races on multiple waterways. We had the 2025 RV Junior and Inter-Schoolgirls State Championships, as well as the classic 2025 Australian Henley Regatta. Of course, I'm joined by Jo Hayman and Alan Crute. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks, Guy.
Don't be shy,
thanks,
Alan. You can acknowledge that you've joined me.
Thanks, Guy. Hi, Jo. How are you?
Good, Alan. How are you?
I see you're the mother of a Victorian medalist.
Medalist.
Which is very exciting.
I'm sure that'll get a mention very shortly.
Yeah.
Now we've got a bit to cover. So what do you reckon we get started with the half regatta, the old junior and inter-schoolgirls state championships down at Geelong? It was called off at the halfway mark thereabouts due to a bit of heat. I don't mean to be complacent when I'm saying a bit of heat, but they do pull the pin pretty easily these days, don't they? Or was it stinking hot down there, Jo?
It was stinking hot down there, I do have to say. And it was hot winds as well. I think they must have... We got to level 2, and then not an hour or so after that, I think they called it off at level 3.
Yeah.
So 38 and over.
I think they do have a... because I'm big on this sort of stuff from two aspects. One is compliance and safety, and two is harden up a little bit. But we've got to find a balance. That's where RV do have a heat policy, and if they have invoked the heat policy, good on them. That is what should happen. And I do believe that the juniors and inters might have a slightly leaner policy to senior rowers. Alan, do you know anything about the...
Yeah, I do. I mean, basically with juniors, you can look at 32 to 34.
Stage one?
There's a formula they use, but inters are basically 34, 36. Seniors add on a bit.
Yeah.
And then for you old buggers,
hang on.
You die.
No, they have. That's broken. I think the masters they actually treat as the juniors, but it's still optional, right? Because I certainly know without a shadow of a doubt at Rutherglen we have been racing in 40 plus without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And I recall specifically doing the single sculls on the Saturday. Where we got to stage 3, and stage 3 meant shortening the course, and they did that the race after my race, which I thought, geez, I've been ripped off there, but and I reckon that was definitely into the 40s because Rutherglen's hot on a winter's day.
Jo, I was actually surprised you got as far as you did.
Really? Yeah, I think for us it's under 17s. And then that's when the heat policy kicks in at 38 above, they cancel. But there were a lot of schools going by their own heat policies.
Yeah,
which is fine.
There were lots of scratchings and schools sort of pulling that along the way as well.
Yeah, which is fine. Again, I've got no problem with that. In this day and age, obviously safety is paramount, and I know the kids get pretty stinking hot out there. Anyway, look, let's not go on about the heat. What unfolded during the course of half the day at Geelong?
Well, we got to see the juniors do their heats and their finals, which was really, really exciting. Ellen, I don't know if you've had time to find your notes on it, but should we start with the juniors or?
Yeah, you go on. Why don't you start with the small boats and we'll work up, hey?
Yeah, sure. So we had
or whatever you like. Yeah.
Well, Alan, you're the expert of the singles, aren't you? Don't you love the singles? Is that where we're going to start?
Oh no, let Jo pick a move and then we'll go from there, hey?
All right.
Well, I wasn't there for all the junior races, but I did notice there was a lot more small boats around in the Corowa Cruise, and they definitely did well in the junior singles, winning the A final. Corowa and Albert Park College, and then I think Corowa came third as well. In that event.
I can see that, first and third.
The only problem with that is that lass that won, Milton, is actually part of the double scull crew, and she was only down there, if you recall, because her partner was off at the basketball.
Wow.
So,
basketball.
So that's a bit of an issue when you get to the double sculls where Corio Bay has that ace crew. So I'm not sure how Corio is going to play that out. Corio's got a lot of single scullers, but they're not quite as advanced as they were last year, according to their head coach. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating division, that single scull division, because I suspect it's going to be won by somebody causing an upset. Probably the Albert Park lass, Doig.
Doig. Yep.
Just a tip.
Just a tip. This is an outsider. You're calling early.
No, well, I think Milton will go back to Agar with Agar. I mean, personally, I don't know if Agar can single scull. I put Milton in single sculls because Walsh and Quirk are already entered ahead of Schoolgirls for double sculls.
Oh, are they? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can already see the entries.
Yeah.
So. Are Milton and Agar going to beat Walsh and Quirk in double sculls? Probably not. So wouldn't you then bring them down to singles to row? Anyway, I don't know. I mean, it's all too complex for me.
It's probably worth commenting at this point, Alan, too, with head of the Schoolgirls, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but they can only enter one event, can't they?
Correct, unless you're a Cox.
Yeah, well, fair enough. We should get special treatment. We have to do all the hard work. We get abused. No, but so I think that's a lot that's worth noting, is you can only do the one event.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do there. I mean, Coral will be thinking deep and hard about that, and they've been very successful the last few years, and as you know, it's my old school, so...
Yes.
But that Quirk lass is exceptional, so whatever... She's already pitched with Walsh, and... Quirk's Cardinia and Walsh must be Cardinia. So, yeah.
The Lather Hall girl was in the B final. That's the same time as the A final as well, the girl who won it from Lather Hall.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Was that in singles? The Mickham girl? Was she
I don't know.
fourth or something? Mickham?
Oh.
Mickham and in singles, you mean, Jo?
Yeah, the junior singles.
Yeah, I'd liked her, but she didn't quite fire at the weekend. Anyway, I think that the singles sculls are probably open guy, whereas doubles.
Actually, I'm just looking at that. I think what you're saying there, Jo, is in her heat. In her heat, she was faster than the winning A final time. In fact. Her heat was the fastest of all the rowers in all heats and finals. So that's an interesting pick-up, Jo.
But wasn't she fourth in the final, Guy?
Fourth in the final, correct. But her heat time was quicker than all of the others. But look, this is the thing too. Times we get a bit caught up on, because the funny thing is, there's a finish post, and who cares what the time is if you're first across it?
Yeah. So something, Jo, must have happened to her in that final. Because my memory...
A lot happens in a single scull, Alan. If you've ever rowed one, I could assure you over 1,000 metres, many things happen.
No, that's all right. Milton rode a 4:40 and she rode a 5:12, which just seemed a bit... She might have gone for a zigzag guy.
Sorry? She might have what? Zigzag.
A zigzag.
Correct. A zigzag plus a couple of crabs. If you row a single scull, you make a seafood platter, you get enough crabs.
That's right. So I suspect that she's still in the mix too. I mean, that's a fascinating division, and the fact that we've got, a dozen or so girls there is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think about the quads, Jo?
Yeah, there was a nice mix-up of the quads, actually. I thought. Like, Loretto Chirac were dominating in the lower divisions, but yeah, across the top 4 or 5 divisions, it was good to see MGGS and MLC and
and they had a few split divisions there too, didn't they? The numbers.
Yeah.
So that goes along with what we've been saying the last few weeks, where we think LT is still strong, but the other two have caught up, and the trifecta looks pretty strong, I think.
Burbank are in there as well.
Yeah, they're just sort of 4th or 5th, aren't they, most of the time? I mean,
They won one of the Div 2A finals.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But in a much lesser time, they were 20 seconds behind. I mean, I think I looked at this afternoon, and I think that if you take MLC, MGGS, and Loretto, you still got probably, Joe, 3 of the 4 finalists most of the time. Would you agree with that, or you?
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And in each division, there's going to be 1 or 2 boats. I mean, in the first division, I know Geelong College did exceptionally well. I mean, they were 3rd in the final on the same time as MGGS.
Oh, nothing in that. Jeepers.
No, nothing in that at all.
0.1 of a second.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And in, I mean, Division 2 was mainly the big 3. I don't know. I mean, I just sort of think it's basically them. I mean, they didn't time everything, which was a bit of a problem, but
all too
live
common.
with it on a hot day, I suppose.
I reckon we'll be bringing up timing a little bit later in this chat, won't we, Alan? I dare say. Anyway, moving through. What we don't have much more to talk about, do we? Because Inters didn't really.
Well, no, except very interesting. We talked about that lass Rio Smith from Sacred Heart. Did you manage to see her, Joe?
The single scull, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a shame her and Val were in a heat together. So Val got left out and put into the B final.
Yes.
So, the Sacred Heart girl, she's just phenomenal. Very dominating. But I wasn't too far behind.
No.
That's nearly a minute margin. That's nearly a minute margin. The Sacred Heart girl won by... I mean, I'm no mathematician. I went to Scotch College. I can't do much with numbers or letters, but it looks like about 55-second margin.
What are we looking at? Rio,
the race behind, in front. Sorry.
Yeah, Rio did a 4:21 in the finals, and Violet did a 4:24 in the B final.
Oh, the B final. I see what you're saying.
You see where we are?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So they weren't in the same heat.
Yeah. Rio's the one I've been talking about. It hasn't been rowing into. She's been rowing up. So I think that's fascinating. I think she's a fun girl too. So that's good. Did you notice the infamous Corowa from New South Wales? Joe won the doubles there.
The Corowa with the C?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the club, Corowa?
Yes.
Yes, the Corowa with the C.
Summers Hogan, who's in that crew, is a good mate. She and I have known each other for several years, and she was injured all last year and couldn't row. I don't know the Packer lass, but anybody from Coral with a C in a small boat is worth noting. So they beat the Coral lasses. Now the St Catherine's girls didn't row, I don't think.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, so that's a good division too.
The Coro with the C, we encounter them a lot. I won't say at Masters, but in club races.
You go to Rutherglen and stuff.
Yeah, well, Rutherglen, but even just normal, C grade events or what have you, and it's always terrifying because they're all they can pack a punch. Yeah, they can pack a punch. Yeah, they certainly punch above their weight, that lot.
Yeah.
Well,
country people.
I mean, Summers Hogan, I'm sure, has won head of schoolgirls medals. And if I went back and had a look, and they are very, very good. You just
should we mention the third place in that event?
Well, of course we should. Yeah.
How did that go?
4:16, wasn't it?
4:16.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yep, that is Fintona getting a medal in the female school double scull year 10 Division 1. Fintona don't get a lot of rowing medals at all, so that is a massive thing. I fondly recall probably 5 or 6 years ago Fintona having a double scull and getting a bronze at the schoolgirls, head of schoolgirls, and there were tears. And I even got emotional. It's like, wow, this is a big thing, and it is a big thing for Fintona to get some medals.
We got a silver in the double last year at head of schoolgirls in the double.
Yeah.
as well.
So was she excited?
Yeah, it was fantastic for the girls, not just for her crew, but for the whole Inters, because like I said, medals aren't something that come by often, and to have even the bronze medal has just really pumped up the whole team and coaching staff and
persistence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I think I shared a quote today as I was doing my invites to my Zoom sessions for the rowers to get on to do their erg sessions, and the quote, it's not mine obviously, the quote says, "The true measure of your potential is not the height of the peak you've reached, but how far you've climbed to get there." And I think that holds true to Fintona. They're a minnow in the sport, and to get results is a massive thing, because it is very much a participation sport at Fintona, as opposed to all the other schools. They can flog you to death, so to speak. So it is a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. One other thing. I was going to.
Can I lead you, Jo, into the eights, the Inter-8s?
Well, that's what I was just about to do.
Oh, good. Good for you.
I'll tell you
Because
what.
I reckon that's the most exciting division on the entire program.
Very
the Schoolgirls, the
exciting.
way it's going.
Look, we didn't get to see any finals, but
No.
the way the heats raced, it felt like it was a final. It's just
Wow.
got everyone up on their feet, I think, down the
There
bank.
is 2 seconds between the top boat in Heat 1 and the second boat in Heat 2. A total of
Correct.
5 boats, 2 seconds. Am I seeing that correctly?
You are.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
just
That's
so
good.
exciting to watch.
Yeah, that's
Gary
great.
crew were great.
And
You don't hear that often, do you?
Scratch, so they could have been there as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's going to be impossible to pick, I think. In Division 2, that Carey boat, which includes the daughter of a famous radio star, which you won't have many difficulties finding out, was much faster in the heats than the Genazzano boat. And when I
That's
saw-
yep. I now picked up who you're talking about. I assume Tom.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
And
He was
I
in
saw
the
him-
85, I think, winning Carey crew as well. With,
okay.
With
Anyway.
James Tompkins. Let's not sidetrack.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, they were really fast, and you can see in the heats that were run, they were almost, 18 seconds faster than Genazzano.
Mm-hmm.
So that looked
Oh,
good.
yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that, and remember last year, Carey had those 2 good junior boats. Remember that? Remember I was getting excited that Carey had 2 good junior boats? It might be in the back of your brain.
Oh, I'll
hidden
tell you
away
what,
that-
Alan. I'll
hidden
tell
away
you
in
what,
the
the
dungeon
knowledge you and now Joe is getting, I'm just out the back door just
Anyway, they
thinking I
did.
better shut up. But
And my daughter's just about to move. Oh, I think she has moved in with that Carey coach who was telling me about that they've retained most of those girls, which I didn't think they had actually. But anyway, the point is that they're fairly fearsome, those girls, and they're going to row this weekend at senior stakes as well, which is very exciting.
yes.
Just on the Inters, we saw just heaps really. Just let me get to that. Pretty, didn't tell you terribly much, except if you look at the heats of Inter Division 1, which you might find there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've got about 3 heats. LT rode a 337, which was fast. MLC rode a 339. MGS rode a 341, and I think Furbank was a 347. Well, there you have it, don't you?
Yes, you're top.
Same old story.
Yeah. Yeah.
In poor old Division 2, they didn't time everything.
Yeah.
So we've only got MLC to 347. In terms of who won the heats, though, it was MLC, LT, MGS, and Loretto Ballarat. In terms of, we did have times in the 3rd division there. Sorry, Jo, I'm just rattling here, which
Which we all get used to.
Yeah, look, that's
but
all
we
right.
embrace it.
I'm just getting through this quickly. In terms of the third division, the times under 4:05 were MLC to 4:03, MGS at 4, LT to 4, Furbank at 4:03, and LB at 3:59, 3:59.
That's all a bit close, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the same cruise, isn't it?
Yeah, but when you're talking only a couple of seconds at this stage of the season, there's no definitive answer, is there?
That's right. And IQ4 was basically, LT 338, Furbank 346, MGC 348, MLC 347, Strathie 350, and St Catherine's there made a bit of a bid at 352. But again, that's the same three big crews with the add-ons, really.
Yeah.
So if you're picking the top 4 boats in any of these divisions, you've got 3 basically welded in.
Mm.
So you're going to say you might not be getting your 80% success rate this year?
No, I think in terms of picking the 4 or 5 that I do, I don't think, even though I don't have times and there's been heat outs and stuff, I'll still get close. In terms of what you asked me to do last year and pick the winner, that's going to be much harder because I'm much closer.
That's a good thing, isn't it? Because you did far too well.
I did far too well.
We can't let it get to your head, Alan.
Any other comments, Jo?
No, fairly much picked up the same. So.
Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there. I just went.
You got in your lane and you flew. I'll tell you what though, Alan, I'm sure you'll agree. When we first started doing these, and when I first spoke to you, Jo, you're a bit, I don't know, what am I meant to say, and what. I'll tell you what, you've come out of the blocks like there's no tomorrow. We're our third review, and you're right up there with Alan on what you're talking about. I'm like, God, I got no idea what's going on.
I'm not quite sure about that.
Oh no, I reckon you'd be pretty popular in the parents' tent to say we need to know something. Let's go and speak to her.
Well, I just feel that I'm actually feeling at the moment that I've got a better handle on juniors and inters than I do on seniors.
Yeah.
Seniors is much harder than it's been for about 10 years, I reckon. So,
and that's a great thing.
Well, if I can't get it right, that's better for the sport. If I can get it right all the time, that's not good for the sport.
I agree completely. And it's also boring for you too, isn't it?
Yeah, I like getting it right. I got it wrong a bit at the weekend. I thought that was really good. So.
All right, so thank you to Big Wheel Toys who sponsored the female school 8 year 10 Division 1. Just bringing up the sponsors again, Alan. After we had the School of Optimism, got to mention. We'll mention Big Wheel Toys, whoever they are.
I didn't see the School of Optimism at the weekend, but
well, they hadn't put their money up for the sponsor.
No, I think he was. He's a fairly big boy, and I think 37 degrees was a bit much for him.
Bit much?
Yeah, I don't blame him either.
Oh, well, we can go on to Big Wheel Toys today. Anyway, let's move on from Big Wheel Toys. I wonder what they pay for that sponsorship.
So shall we deal with the controversial stuff?
All right, let's deal with some controversial stuff.
So, the Henley. Well, the Melbourne Amateur Rowing Association has had some sort of problems in the past. Not recently, but they have in the past.
Yeah.
So what they've actually said is that folks should pick up their bow numbers between 5:30 and 6:30 on a Friday night.
Yep.
Not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
And they produced a draw, which I copied at 9:03 in the evening.
Yep.
Now, the problem they have is they included a bow number 7 for Wesley in Male Division 2. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Except that on the day of the regatta, bow number 7 disappeared. It just didn't exist. So what that meant was that all the bow numbers for the next time trials were all one above what they should have been.
So now, this affected a roll-on from the absolute beginning of Division 1 schoolboys.
No, from Division 2 schoolwide.
Right, sorry.
So
okay.
whether they did that to honour young Ed, I don't know. Except that when you get to, the first division of the girls, instead of St Catherine's being number 14, they were number 15.
Right.
Now, well, supposedly number 15. Now, you've got a number of instances here. You've got the people distributing the bow numbers, the judges, obviously the participants, etc.
Yep.
Now, what actually happened in practice is that bow number 14 won the time trial from bow number 13, from bow number 17, bow number 12.
Yep.
So, on the revised bow number list without bow number 7, which appeared sometime on Saturday, or very late Friday night. Now, I don't know. Obviously I don't know. I only checked this when I came home.
Yep.
Okay. So Geelong Grammar won the time trial from Furbank, from Lauriston and MLC. Now, the interesting thing is St Catherine's was 6th and MGGS was 7th. Now, they took ages to release these results. I ran into some stats, sorry.
I knew what you meant. Yep.
Yes. Who were wondering, how do we advance from the repechage? And I said, you can't. You're stuck.
No.
And then we discovered that MGGS was down there as well. And some of the St Cass folk, including the important folk at St Cass, thought, well, they were all affected by that lad's death and they weren't rowing that well, da-da-da-da. But as the morning went on, there were a few mumbles about the bow numbers.
Yeah.
I detected. Yep. And so by late morning, St Cass were detecting that they thought they actually had bow number 14, which would have meant they won from Geelong Grammar, MGGS and then Furbank. Now, those 4 appear more likely than the previous 4.
Yep.
Now, the previous 4 are all good crews, so that could have happened. But likewise, the other 4 could have happened. Now, what's happened is that Furbank actually won the event, but I know the Furbank first coach wasn't happy, and the Furbank director of rowing thought there was a mistake. Right. I know the Furbank director of rowing thinks that the CEO rowing Victoria is going to get lots of complaints.
Yep.
Because I think this, if there is a problem, extended to the second division as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, what's happened? I don't know. Maybe one party at Melbourne Amateur Rowing Club had the first draw. Maybe one party had the second draw. Why you would take out bow number 7, one draw and change it is incomprehensible.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
But they did it.
Well, it's clearly human error, though, isn't it? Right? I mean...
Well, yes. Well, the other thing I thought of is all these coaches film their crews, don't they? They go along with their cameras. So I don't have much information about this, but all the coaches will know what bow number they have.
Yeah.
And so on. So I'm sure behind the scenes, as we speak, things are being sorted out.
Yeah.
I think if MARA had made a mistake, they should apologise.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a huge mistake.
Yep.
If they haven't made a mistake, they can stay silent. And it is possible that GG, Furbank and MLC did actually make the top 4.
Yep.
Lauriston, I don't know.
So just to clarify all of this, because it's getting a bit confusing, is it fair to say, Joe? So I think if the issues happen in the time trials, right, which therefore dictated the top 4 who have a chance to win.
Who make the semis, yeah.
Correct, yeah. So if you're one of the top 4, and because of this botch up you end up in 5th place, you're out.
Yes, correct.
Right. So the suggestion here is potentially the top 4 boats were not the fastest 4 in time trials. Right.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So that's that's the scenario. St Catherine's won the seconds, which was good.
Yep.
For them. Again, some question about where Furbank finished. And if you have a look at the strange quad first, if you've got your computer up there, it was just after the eights.
Yep.
Toorak College's seconds not only did better than their first in the time trial, they ended up winning the event.
I can see
that. I thought that the Lauriston boat and the Haileybury boat were probably the two best boats in that fleet, which is fair enough. They both finished in the top four.
Yeah.
But the seconds there at Toorak must be eating lots of seafood. They've just got a whack.
Yeah, yeah.
And won. Now, again, you may have some funny business with the bail numbers. I have no idea, but they did win. So, and you know, a Toorak College crew, whichever one it was, won the semi and the final.
Yep.
You can't deny that, and that's
well,
you're
still competing against the four, right? You still
that's right.
Yeah,
so you can't deny that, and that's fantastic for them.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm not too black and white on all this stuff because I just don't know. I mean, there'll be hundreds of people that do know.
Or think they know, Alan. There's a lot of
or think they know. I don't think I know. I'm just
accepting you don't.
What's logic? Well, I mean, I came home and looked at the draw, and the draw was completely different to the previous night.
Yeah, right.
And that number 7, lucky 7, was the major problem.
Yeah.
Somebody's changed that, and that potentially has mucked the entire thing up.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right.
I wouldn't mention anything else because I went home at lunchtime. I saw you win a race, Guy.
We won a race.
With the girls.
Yep, we did. And we had a crack at a Henley final, which is always a special thing to do. I don't think people appreciate how hard Henley is to win. It is a great event, that's for sure. Shall we mention the highlight, I think, of the whole day was the tribute to the young boy from Melbourne Grammar, and we were fortunate enough to be on the water starting to make our way back, and we sort of timed it beautifully and realised that the what's the word to use, the procession, I don't know what you'd call it, the row over was coming down. It was quite it was quite special. And there was us, and there was a young Xavier crew in front of us, and we stopped and we spent a bit of time acknowledging it, and it was very well done, I think, and
I thought so too.
Quite emotional. I think it highlights the tightness of the rowing community, that people of all ages and what have you were certainly affected and moved by it. The feeling on the bank would have been quite emotional, I imagine, Alan. I
hadn't seen that bank, sort of 3 deep ever.
Oh no, the crowd was phenomenal. I've not seen anything like that.
I've not seen that.
No, that was not since the old photos of the 1900s where they.
Yeah, 1919 with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember that one guy before you hit
no, not quite, but and I think it was just really well done. It was I don't know what word to use. It's a very classy way to do it because
I thought it was good.
Yeah, no, I thought it was good. They did a great job, and well done to the Melbourne Grammar people for pushing on as they did on the day and for their first.
That was the general thought.
No, it was good. It was good, but it certainly was a special day, and the numbers were right up there, and it's always a fun one, the old Henley, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the funny thing is with that funny Pims bar they do, that's created a little bit of a historical.
I did notice it was a bit crowded this time. I'm sure you were in there, were you, Alan?
Well, for a brief time, guy, just a brief time.
Yeah.
But all the St Catherine's parents from back when they had that really flash boat in 2022 all turn up.
Oh, yeah.
So it's sort of like a St Catherine's reunion.
Right.
So they're all having a chat, and then all these other folk come in. And I only stayed till lunchtime, as you know, but I mean, it's great fun. And they get on very well with the MARA A guys.
Yep.
Good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Although somebody I spoke to in the last 24 hours says the MARA people should not be there next year.
Oh, well, look, let's...
But they will be.
I think we need to push all that
bling
behind us, don't we, now?
Yeah, they've got
We've had our gripe.
Yeah, they'll be there.
It's a bloody hard job, Alan. Let me tell you a true story, and this might put me under the firing line a little bit here. Very true story. Some years ago at a certain regatta, I happened to be on the start, and I was the official timer. And I have my... for those that don't know, the timing's done on an app on your phone. And I was standing there at the 2K start of the... I don't want to mention the regatta. and it was the second mates were about to go off. And my phone rings at the same time I was about to press start. And it was one of my mates asking where the beer was in the car. And I'm like, I've got to go. Hang up the phone. Too late. Botched up the start completely. Botched up the next start, which was the first eights. Anyway, long story short, we mixed up the first and the second eights around. And so there was a lot of second eights thinking they went quicker than the first eights. Well, I thought that was the wise thing to do was stay quiet at that point.
Yes. Don't mention the war.
No, exactly. There were a few second eights up and about going, hey, we sorted out these. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, I coached at the weekend asked me if
I'm hoping that's long ago that I can actually say it without getting in trouble now.
Yeah, anyway, that was an interesting morning.
Look. The other side to this, which I'm very strong in, is it. Look, it is sport. There is people running the event. They're all administrators. They're all volunteers. Well, most are all volunteers, and they make mistakes. And we all make mistakes. And dare I say, to the athletes, as gutting as it might be, it's also part of the point of sport. It's also the character building side. It's also the dealing with adversity, and all of that, which is exactly why kids do sport, right? I mean, that's why they have it in schools in the first place.
It's also not a major. I mean, it's...
No, it's not the head of the schoolgirls.
It's not a major, so...
No, but it is... I mean, to get a Henley pot or a Henley medal is an impressive...
Oh, it's good fun, but I mean...
Yeah.
I think it was... up in numbers this year because of the weather at the previous regattas. I think they just wanted some flat water. And, so I think...
look, what I love about it is it's rowing on a river.
Yeah.
The twists, the bends, the currents, the fun, and, the close racing of some of those eights, especially over the 1600, would have been exciting because you chop and change around bends and you take advantage. It gives the coxswains something to work with. It gives the rowers something to focus on apart from going down a boring old straight line.
Well, maybe you as a coxswain expert should show the folk in lane 1 how not to go too deep into that corner.
Into that corner at the
1K. 50 metres.
Yeah,
because I reckon
the 800 start.
Disaster for some crews.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a quid pro quo to that though, is it was a little bit more protected from the weather over there. But there was current running. I have a little bit of a trick that I always do on that river is I make sure that all of the crew at the start sit in the middle of the river and check the boat for about 30 seconds to sort of see what's happening with the current. Because you can't look at leaves over the top. So those coxswains are saying, oh, there's the leaves moving. Well, that can be the wind. So you've got to have the boat stationary, checking it and to see if there is current. And if there's not current, take the shortcut. If there is current, stay in the middle.
I just noticed in the girls' final, I saw Geelong Grammar were first coming into that bend, and they went really deep.
Yeah.
Burbank just did a 90-degree turn.
Yeah.
And bang.
It's a long way.
They won the race.
Yeah.
That was it. They'd gone from probably being square at best to being 2-3 lengths in front. It was over.
And there you go, coxswains. You can win races on these courses.
Oh, the coxswains win races.
Yeah, and that's what's the fun about it. Now, I love it. Actually, when we were coming in, because we rode to the start, and this was a bit of fun, especially for the girls in our crew, is we literally had to wait for the 1600 races to go first, so we could come down the course to the 800 start. Right? And we were literally waiting on the start line to the side, probably 3 metres from the MLC crew who was starting, and it was great to be able to say, hey, watch what these guys do. You never see as close as that and a side-on view of a race start, and to experience what they, the power of these boats when they accelerate out of the blocks, and that was quite cool to be able to sort of witness all of that. But anyway, one of the beauties of this regatta as well is you do see all of that.
Joe, do you want me just to touch on what's going to happen this week with VIX? Just quickly.
Yeah.
What's happened with VIX this week is that they've put all the Friday events on Saturday.
Yep.
They've taken out all of the preliminaries, B finals, C finals, etc.
Yep.
And they're only allowing the school to put in one boat into quads, 4s and 8s. So although they've put back under 19 8s, which is really good, they're hoping to sort of make it more New South Wales-ish, I think. So there's lots more small boats events because all the Friday stuff's in. So I'll just quickly go through. Event 11 is the under 21 pair. This is the thing that St Catherine's won at the small boat regatta back in January with Peel and Purton.
Right.
And so they're up against all those MUBC and mercantile crews again. So that's kind of interesting. And St Cass have put in another crew as well.
Yep, I can see that.
There's a challenge there, isn't there? In under 21 single sculls, you've got 15 crews, which is super.
Yep.
And you've got Fury in there.
Yes.
And Garand, and you've got, Durand, sorry. Kafasis Schlicht, Hucker, this new girl from Tassie, Hearn. I mean, we actually have more depth now. We're not perhaps as much depth as other states, but we're getting there.
Yep.
So that's exciting. Just quickly...
Can I just jump in there, Alan? I'm actually
sure.
going to be coxing an under 21 crew on Saturday.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? I've never coxed
Boys
over
or
2K. Boys. We're taking on the big boys. We're taking on Melbourne Union Mercs, and we're going to dust them up and spit them out the back door.
Oh, okay.
If you heard it first here.
I don't print out the boys, but I'll take your word. Okay, and under 21 quads. I'm really sort of going in order, so not to... This is Gippsland Grammar, potentially our best crew, appearing against Strathcona. No Wrighton in this event, but they should win that.
Yep.
Under 21 fours.
Fidgener are in there too, of course, Joe.
Of course, yeah. Well, they must do better this week on flat water.
Yep.
2 Mercs crews, 2 MUBC crews, and under 21 fours. Should probably mix and match that. Then you've got Division 1/8s. Well, you've got the top 3. I'd expect to go back to course here, St Catherine's, MGGS and MLC.
Yep.
That's interesting. Division 2, I expect Geelong Grammar and MGGS to be pretty fearsome there, with St Cass, who have broken a bad patch coming forward. Under 21, let's see, under 21 double sculls. Oh, here we are. Now, here we are. We've got 2 Corowa New South Wales crews here versus Rio Smith and Hearn, and the 2 girls in the front part of the Gippsland Grammar boat, which that should be fascinating, actually. I'm quite looking forward to that. Under 21 8s is a lottery these days. MUBC and Mercs are not strong enough to sort of fend off the schoolgirl crews.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing some chaos there. Under 19 8s are mainly the seconds, and that event should have been there all season, but wasn't.
Yes.
Editorial comment, but anyway.
Yep. You've been critical of the under 19,
the
removal of under 19s. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they should be there. One of those Carey crews will probably have to drop out. They're actually inter-crews.
Yeah.
And the one with the famous,
Daughter of?
The famous radio person might have to drop out, even though I suspect it's their best crew.
Yeah.
And just finally, as we go through here quickly, what have we got here? We've got, Fours Division 1, where your classic Ballarat Brigade stuff versus Genazzano. We're going to know more after tomorrow morning when Ballarat head of the lake is on.
Yes.
Loretto Ballarat's favoured there. Division 2, Ballarat Grammar's favoured. Although they've had to scrap out this week, if you've read that in the papers. Bit of corporal punishment up there.
Oh, yeah, a bit of old school stuff. That wasn't the old strappy. Yeah,
that school has the nicest principal you'd ever meet.
Yeah.
I just don't know sometimes. Anyway, where do we go now? Okay. Double sculls for schools. Oh, God. Tafassi and Harrison would be hard to beat there. So Gippsland Grammar have been really playing ducks and drakes here. So they've taken their quad out of the afternoon session and mixed them up. So they're really playing ducks and drakes with that fleet. So they put their best 2 in doubles, which I don't think Nick's done before, but he has, and they'd be favourites in that race. Single sculls for girls. Well, you've got all the best there, Tafasis, Schlicht, etc., Jenkins and so on. When you get down to quads, well, no Gippsland Grammar. You've actually got a Coral and New South Wales crew there. Which you would never want to discount.
No.
But Brighton and Strathy should probably do best there. In Division 2, Albert Park College monstered it last time. But you've got a lot of intercrews there. Like Furbank. Let's see. Who else is an intercrew there? Let's see now. I know there's 1 or 2. I can't quite pick it. Oh, that Albert Park College crew's an intercrew. Oh, no, it isn't. I beg your pardon. Anyway, there's 1 or 2 there that I'm not quite identifying at the moment, but anyway. And that's about it. So, Joe, I need resuscitation.
Well, I think, Joe, each time I listen to all of this, I'm wondering if I'm the only one, but are you gobsmacked by how much he knows about all this stuff? Because it's got me.
He's phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, I'm clicking the buttons here, just trying to look at the entries.
I'm trying to catch up. Yeah.
Joe, I'm thinking of retiring on Friday.
Do you
want me to invite you over and you can learn a bit of stuff? I have one of my daughters here, so I'll be quite safe.
Oh my God! I tell you what, your knowledge is absolutely second to none with this stuff.
Well, it's great fun, and those girls in the single boats, I know a fair number of those, and they are just lovely. And some of these parent groups, I don't know all of them, but I mean, the St Catherine's group's really good fun this year. And some of these smaller ones that allow the hall groups really good fun, and so on and so forth. So I just had fun. I have fun tomorrow.
Well, Ballarat tomorrow.
Well, I'm going up there. I'll need more time because I suspect there's going to be more traffic. But I'll just go up there and say goodbye to work for a day. Half a day.
Well, hang on, you focus more on this job than you do the...
Oh, yeah, I don't like work anymore.
You can't say
that.
that.
I can be stronger in that view.
Yeah. Well,
so Joe, are you organised in terms of head of schoolgirls with your school, or what's the story there?
We busily got our Friends of Rowing, which is the parent volunteer support. Very busy in the background at the moment, organising food and just looking after the girls, making sure they've got everything they need.
And
so
the parents
do you intend on being on the south? So you're going to be on the south bank again?
We haven't been. I don't think that's been allocated yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you do have a preference, so
I like
been there for a while now.
Oh, yeah, I used to love it over there. Away from the helipads of the other schools. Oh dear. No,
it really is amazing the other side.
So, Joe, is your daughter out for an American scholarship after that medal?
One step at a time.
Oh.
Yeah, never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never. Well, I'll tell you what, we've been going nearly 50 minutes.
Oh God, that's
thereabouts. Enough. Yes, I think
that's
we've
me.
probably...
I apologise.
Yep, no, that's all good information. All good information. There needs to be a way of being able to check. You know, for the parents listening in, they may not want to go through 50 minutes to hear about 3 seconds of their school crews mentioned, but Anyway, I think it's funny how many people do comment that they listen to this, and even people who aren't involved with schoolgirls rowing listen to this and they go, oh, yeah, I'm learning all about it. It's all a bit of fun. So, look, on that note, what have we got next weekend? Hang on. Dates. We've already covered all that off. God, see, this is where I get totally lost with all this stuff.
Well, that's because you're competing and winning.
Well, exactly. And as I said, very excited racing the 2K. Haven't done that before in a coxswain's seat ever. So that'll be a first. I can speak a lot of rubbish for sort of 3.5 to 4 minutes, but when it comes to 6 to 7 minutes, it's a different story. Anyway, we'll find that all out on Saturday and we'll see how we go. Alan and
so
Jo.
You're going up on Saturday, so I'll hopefully see you this time.
Yeah. Well, I'll certainly be about. For sure. And looks like the weather's going to be kind, so. Bit early to tell.
Well, we didn't mention that the weather's going to be mild with not much wind.
Yeah, which should be.
So that should be superb.
Yeah, always is up there when the conditions are good.
Yeah,
lousy otherwise.
Yeah. And I was just thinking this today, because they're making all these cuts. I think with these events where there's only 2 or 3 folk in them, they'll combine them.
Yeah.
And I think
as they should.
They should do that with those little, those double scullers and things.
Yeah.
In the club events, and I think that will work perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and it makes it a bit more exciting. It does get, like it's in Masters you see it all too often. You have races with two boats. So.
Yeah.
And you win and you're, 50% of one. It's not that exciting, is it? Yeah. Anyway, look, enough of that. Let's all move on and we will catch up again next week. I will probably bump into you on the weekend.
And I might introduce you to the Centre of Optimism.
The Centre of Optimism.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he's getting his bang for his buck on the sponsorship. We should also mention Gavin Blue Photography. They're sponsoring the Male School 8 Open Division 1 this weekend.
Yeah. Fabulous.
The lone sponsor of the whole day. There we go. GavinBlue.com.
It's just a matter of picking the state of America that Joe's daughter goes to. Maybe.
Oh, for the... Yep.
Yeah. Maybe Oregon State. Maybe that's the place. Somewhere safe.
Somewhere safe.
Somewhere where they don't vote for you know who.
The 53rd state.
Yeah.
Greenland.
Yeah, Greenland.
Greenland. Or Canada. Anyway, that aside. All right, let's move on. Let's not get
off we go.
Well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for joining me. Alan, thanks once again. And
good to see you again.
You too. Until next time, everybody, we'll see you around.
Okay, cheers.